What is up, everybody? We're on day 170 of our Bible in a Year series. We are continuing on in Psalms today, but we have several that we're going to read today. Actually, reading from 61 to 67. There's several that are shorter in that space, but just to try to keep the books together. I'm splitting it up a little bit differently, but yeah, let's jump straight in. Psalm 61. God, hear my cry, pay attention to my prayer. I call to you from the ends of the earth when my heart is without strength. Lead me to a rock that is high above me, for you have been a refuge for me, a strong tower. In the face of the enemy, I will dwell in your tent forever and take refuge under the shelter of your wings. God, you have heard my vows. You have given a heritage to those who fear your name. Add days to the king's life. May his years span many generations. May he sit enthroned before God forever. Appoint faithful love and truth to guard him. Then I will continually sing of your name, fulfilling my vows day by day. That was it on 61. So, like I said, they're shorter today, but there's several that we're going to get into. So, yeah. 62. I am at rest in God alone. My salvation comes from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I will never be shaken. How long will you threaten a man? Will all of you attack as if he were a leaning wall or a tottering fence? The only plan to bring him down from his high position. They take pleasure in lying. They bless with their mouths, but they curse inwardly. Rest in God alone, my soul, for my hope comes from him. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I will not be shaken. My salvation and glory depend on God, my strong rock. My refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times. You people, pour out your hearts before him. God is our refuge. Common people are only a vapor. Important people, an illusion. Together on a scale, they weigh less than a vapor. Place no trust in oppression or false hope in robbery. If wealth increases, don't set your heart on it. God has spoken once. I have heard this twice. Strength belongs to God, and faithful love belongs to you, Lord, for you repay each according to his works. 63. In God you are, or I butchered that beginning. God, you are my God. I eagerly seek you. I thirst for you. My body faints for you. In a land that is dry, desolate, and without water. So I gaze on you in the sanctuary. I see your strength and your glory. My lips will glorify you because your faithful love is better than life. So I will bless you as long as I live. At your name I will lift up my hands. Now, I've got a note here on verse 4. It says the physical act of raising the hands was one custom of ancient Israel while praising. The Apostle Paul commends it for Christian men, 1 Timothy 2:8. Posture, uh, posture and gestures can intensify prayer and praise if the action is natural and the intent sincere. Ancient Near Eastern monuments, I cannot read, depicts rulers lifting the hand in supplication before a deity, and Israel followed the same practice toward the Lord. So, interesting. Um, yeah. Where were we? In I jumped ahead on accident because we were only in 63. Okay, and I just read 4. Verse 5. You satisfy me as with rich food, my mouth with praise will praise you. With joyful lips, when I think of you as I lie on my bed, I meditate on you during the night watches because you are my helper. I will rejoice in the shadow of your wings. I follow close to you. Your right hand holds on to me. But those who intend to destroy my life will go into the depths of the earth. They will be given over to the power of the sword. They will become a meal for jackals, but the king will rejoice in God. All who swear by him will boast, for the mouths of liars will be shut. 64. God, hear my voice when I am in anguish. Protect my life from the terror of the enemy. Hide me from the scheming of wicked people, from the mob of evildoers who sharpen their tongues like swords and aim bitter words like arrows, shooting from concealed places at the blameless. They shoot at him suddenly and are not afraid. They adopt an evil plan. They talk about hiding traps and say, "Who will see them?" They devise crimes and say, "We have perfected a secret plan." The inner man and the heart are mysterious, but God will shoot them with arrows suddenly. They will be wounded. They will be made to stumble. Their own tongues work against them. All who see them will shake their heads. Then everyone will fear and will tell about God's work, for they will understand what he has done. The righteous one rejoices in the Lord and takes refuge in him. All those who are upright in heart will offer praise. Chapter 65. Praise is rightfully yours, God in Zion. Vows to you will be fulfilled. All humanity will come to you, the one who hears prayer. Iniquities overwhelm me. Only you can atone for our rebellions. How happy is the one you choose and bring near to live in your courts. We will be satisfied with the goodness of your house, the holiness of your temple. You answer us in righteousness with awe-inspiring works, God of our salvation, the hope of all the ends of the earth and of the distant seas. You establish the mountains by your power. You are robbed of strength. You silence the roar of the seas, the roar of the waves, and the tumult of the nations. Those who live far away are awed by your signs. You make east and west shout for joy. You visit the earth and water it abundantly, enriching it greatly. God's stream is filled with water, for you prepare the earth in this way, providing people with grain. You soften it with showers and bless its growth, soaking its furrows and leveling its ridges. You crown the year with your goodness. Your carts overflow with plenty. The wilderness pastures overflow, and the hills are robed with joy. The pastures are clothed with flocks, and the valleys covered with grain. They shout in triumph. Indeed, they sing. 66. Any Star Wars fans listening or watching? Maybe just had a joke pop in their head. I'll leave it there. If I don't know if you can see my background, it's Starry Night with an AT-AT Walker. So you're welcome if you like Star Wars. If you don't, I'll pray for you. Chapter 66. Let the whole earth shout joyfully to God. Sing about the glory of his name. Make his praise glorious. Say to God, how awe-inspiring are your works. Your enemies will cringe before you. Because of your great strength, the whole earth will worship you and sing praise to you. They will sing praise to your name. Come and see the wonders of God. His acts for humanity are awe-inspiring. He turned the sea into dry land, and they crossed the river on foot. There we rejoiced in him. He rules forever by his might. He keeps his eye on the nations. The rebellious should not exalt themselves, because bless our God, you peoples. Let the sound of his praise be heard. He keeps us alive and does not allow our feet to slip. For you, God, tested us. You refined us as silver is refined. You lured us into a trap. You placed burdens on our backs. You let men ride over our heads. We went through fire and water, but you brought us out to abundance. I will enter your house with burnt offerings. I will pay you my vows that my lips promised and my mouth spoke during my distress. I will offer you fattened sheep as burnt offerings with a fragrant smoke of rams. I will sacrifice bulls and goats. Come and listen, all who fear God, and I will tell what he has done for me. I cried out to him with my mouth, and praise was on my tongue. If I had been aware of malice in my heart, the Lord would not have listened. However, God has listened. He has paid attention to the sound of my prayer. Blessed be God, he has not turned away my prayer or turned his faithful love from me. Chapter 67. May God be gracious to us and bless us. May he make his face shine upon us, so that your way may be known on earth, your salvation among all the nations. Let the peoples praise to you. Let the people let the peoples praise you. God, let all the peoples praise you. Let the nations rejoice and shout for you judge the peoples with fairness and lead the nations on earth. Let the peoples praise you, God. Let all the peoples praise you. The earth has produced its harvest. God, our God, blesses us. God will bless us, and all the ends of the earth will fear him. And that is it for today for the reading. Anyways, we flew through those. Like I said, they're shorter. They're quite a bit shorter. Um, so, like trying to get these to fit to where we're not overlapping one book with another. Um, if you missed it, I did. I talked about. I think it wasn't the first day. That's at the end of book one. But Psalm is actually split into 5 books. And you can kind of see with how the last psalm of the book ends, it makes sense of why. You'll see if you didn't notice when we finished, I think it was 41 was the end of the first one. Um, you'll see, and it makes sense. It's a clear ending spot, but we're not at our clear ending spot yet, so we're gonna ask some questions. Psalm 61's or question one. Psalm 61's plea for refuge from the end of the earth. How does this cry challenge us to seek God as our ultimate shelter, even when we feel distant or overwhelmed by life's challenges? I've brought this up previously, but it kind of comes back to faith. Understanding that trusting that God will do the things that he has said he will do, both in promises that he's made and the nature of God, having faith, belief, or trust in what we have seen God to be. That is how we're able to, even when God seems distant, seek shelter in God. Even when it seems like he's not involved in our situation or anything like that, that is how we're able to go to God, to put our faith there, because trusting that God is who he said he is. Question 2. Psalm 63's thirst for God in a dry land. How might this longing prompt us to reflect on cultivating a deep desire for God's presence, especially in seasons of spiritual or emotional barrenness? I have noticed in my life, you have waves. There's times where you really feel like on fire. You're digging in. You're reading your Bible. You're praying, and it's just like you feel like you're going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's great. Like it feels great. And then I've had times where and nothing has changed. Like I'm reading as much as I was. I'm trying to meditate on His Word as much as I was, praying as much as I was, but it feels like there's a dryness, I guess, a barrenness, if you will. And in those moments, those situations, it's easy to start drifting away, to stop reading or start reading less or start praying less or focusing on God less, focusing on things around you more. The best advice I have for those situations is that's when you need to be pushing in even more. That's when you need to be more adamant about setting up your time with God, setting up your time to pray, to read your Bible, to cultivate your relationship with God. The times when it's the hardest to do it is the times when you need to do it the most. Generally speaking, that's what I've seen in my own life, anyways. So, yeah. Question 3. Psalm 65's celebration of God's provision in creation and forgiveness. How does this dual focus invite us to consider the connection between his care for the world and his redemptive grace for our lives? Well, I mean, we see they talk there, and we know everything we see now that is life sustaining is it's from God. Oxygen, water, food, like all of it. God, God made it. I just hit my desk with my elbow. That hurt. Uh, God made it so that we would need these things, but then He also provided the things, and He set it up in a way that you don't just have to take it to survive, but it's like so I like to think sometimes if you've ever been in this moment, you're extremely just you feel dehydrated, you need water. You're not necessarily like dying of dehydration, but you really need water. And then you get a glass of ice cold water and you're able to drink it. Like that refreshing feeling that was given to us by God. That didn't have to be the case. It didn't have to be something that was felt refreshing or felt good or enjoyable or anything like that. Like that was there by God. And I think things like that can be a not a perfect mirror, not a perfect correlation, but it can be a little snippet of what grace feels like spiritually. So we were dying spiritually, and God provided a way. Now we don't even have access to that fully yet. Like we won't have access to that in full until the life to come. But I do think that there is kind of a little bit of a reflection there. We can see little bits of the macro that's going to happen now in our life, and we can see that in creation. And I think that's a beautiful thing to see, to look at. So that is it for today. Appreciate everyone watching and listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I enjoy reading comments from people and interacting as much as I can. So if you want to leave a comment, or you can answer the questions that we talked about, put your own answers in there. If you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. People generally don't have issue doing that online, but if you think I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. Give me your answers, or what you think the answer should be. Put it in there. If this has been a blessing to you, if you've benefited from this, consider passing it on to somebody else. Word of mouth is the best way that podcast spreads, so you can pass it on to somebody else and it can benefit them and bless them and help give them a resource to stay in actively reading their Bible, which reading your Bible every day is something you should do. You will never, ever, ever regret getting in and reading your Bible every day. I can guarantee you, you will not ever regret that. So passing this on to somebody could help them stick with a reading plan, help them stick with reading every day, and it's good stuff. Tomorrow we will be finishing up book 2. I think we'll be 68 to 72 roundabout, but we'll be finishing up book 2 in Psalm, and we'll have some interesting tidbits to go over. So you don't want to miss it. Thanks. God bless.